The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Crime News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. Today is July 9th, 2025. We are live to tape on episode 857. And today, Epstein's Missing Minute. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit films at Face Like the Sun, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. It's Wednesday.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the Canary Crime News Talk. Yeehaw!
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Look at that.
My
Feels
sinuses
good.
are cleared, ready to
It's
go.
back. That was a response to several survey takers, and you know what? We're going to deliver for the survey taker. So thank you, everybody who's done that. Big shout out to the Face Like the Sun channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. And, of course, podcast listeners, we apologize for excluding some clips from the audio podcast. Will not happen again.
They're fixed now, so go back to that
fixed.
episode and go listen again. It's
re-uploaded, and it's waiting for you. And a big shout out to everybody who took the surveys. We do surveys every single episode, and do not worry, they are only 2 questions long. They take 30 seconds, and as always, if there's something you like about the show, something you don't like about the show, if you just generally want the show to be better, go take these surveys. It takes zero of your life. I mean, 30 seconds. What are you going to do with the 30 seconds? Boom, boom, you're done. And it's much better, especially the complainers. If there's complainers out there, or those who think they know better, the survey is the place to actually let us know about that, because we don't sit there and scroll YouTube comments or go through the chat or anything like that. So, we are at the beginning of the July experiment, moving all producers to the end of the show. And I will tell you this, it tends to be that the people taking the survey are the people who like the show the most. And so if you are someone who has hated the producer segments and you're so glad that they're at the end of the show, I highly recommend you go take the surveys and produce the show, because those are the 2 things that will decide if we keep the producerships at the end. But more on that later, Gonz. In all of our lives, there feels like there's always something missing, doesn't it, Gonz?
Yes. Why?
Indeed, it's part of It's part of the experience of being a human being, is that feels like something is missing. Something is not quite right. And some call this the God-shaped hole. We seek our connection to the divine creator of the universe for our whole lives, often mistaking the shape of that hole for something that's, sin or vice might be able to fill for us. And if not that, perhaps a fellow human being. But we all know around here that God is really that one last piece to turn us humans into what we are meant to be. Much like the experience of being a human being, Gonz, something is missing from the Epstein proof video put out by the Trump administration and Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, that was supposed to prove that nobody ever went in, nobody ever came out of the Epstein cell, and yet everybody noticed something right away. Something was missing. And here is the response from the Trump administration.
We will launch a new age.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Sure, if I
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
All right, before we get into Pam Bondi there, yeah, people are really outraged that Trump is doubling down on, hey, we're done with the Epstein talk. Like, why are we still talking about Epstein? He's a creep. There's other things going on.
Why are the distractions not working? We hit the rain button, and there's all sorts of tragedy across 3 different states. Why, that was supposed to distract you from the Epstein thing. We timed it very well to where you should be thinking about other stuff, more important things, and even to watch his physical performance, his body, he's kind of doing this like, what are you doing? Nobody cares. Why are you caring? So that's very suspicious. We'll talk more about that after the clip too.
Here's Pam Bondi.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide.
Wait, hold on. The video wasn't conclusive, but what was showing beforehand, before the 1 minute missing?
Yes, the 10 hours, the 9 hours and 59 minutes before the missing 1 minute is what proves that what they say happened.
It's such a weird, you can tell she's sort of looking for her words to explain, and I think she noticed that she's maybe under a little bit of heat. I don't know. This is weird. I mean, she mentions, doesn't know anything about Epstein being an agent. Is that like an agent of Central Intelligence or Mossad or what?
It's quite clear. I mean, it's obviously been the Trump administration's strong suit for now going on 10 years that they are hyper connected to the conversations going on online, and especially now through the fake Elon theater, giving the impression that they wouldn't have direct data analysis of what people are saying at any point in any day for the rest of eternity. There's a couple things she did say that was strange. The agent thing is also interesting. She threw it in there, gave no context. I mean, this is obviously in reference to people referring to the actual quote from his 2015 prosecutor, who said, basically paraphrasing, I would have gone after him harder, but I was told that he belonged to intelligence. And this is part of the deep lore of Epstein, of course, and the quote-unquote conspiracy theories that the whole operation was a intelligence agency, sort of global international intelligence agency operation for control. And, she doesn't dive into that. She just says, oh, and he's an agent. I don't know anything about it. The other strange thing was, talking about the child abuse material, the videos. She said, oh, all these awful videos that he downloaded. Like he's just downloading them off the internet, not one producing them in his, castle of sin with cameras everywhere, blackmailing politicians and world leaders and celebrities to be able to control a global cabal of interconnected network of lizard people who are, vying for control. So a lot of these weird little implications being done in sort of a flippant way, it's very similar to Trump being so flippant, like, why do you even care? I can't believe we're talking about this guy. It's not a big deal. And then her coming in, being like, oh yeah, he downloaded bad videos, and oh, I don't know about that agent thing or whatever, but and who cares about the 1 minute missing, the 9 hours and 59 minutes before that show that nothing happened? Okay, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, did you notice all the talk about Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, not wearing her cross necklace while she was delivering this Epstein thing?
I did see that. I meant to dive in and see if she had ever not worn the cross before. Did you see anything about that?
I mean, I haven't done my personal deep dive, but according to people that are paying attention,
wearing the cross. She's not wearing the cross
because she has to lie. Lying. She has to lie on stage about
if she lies with the cross on, she'll start burning and melting in front of because. Yeah, I don't know. It's who knows? Who knows?
This whole thing is very interesting. It's just triggering everybody.
About it. Let's watch the last few seconds of this video.
And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset. And every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
Hold on.
Okay, so this is the explanation. The explanation is that the security
We're using
cameras,
VHS tape that we record over every night at the prison bureau. Like, what?
Basically, that's the idea. It's a 1999 surveillance system. Now, they don't give the specifics, but the implication is, oh, yes, they have to change out the tape at 11:59 every day, put in a new tape so that there's a 1 minute video missing from everything. Now, lots of people have been chiming in on this. Lots of video or surveillance video professionals are chiming in on this, saying even if that is the case for the survey, that they're still on VHS or Betamax or something weird like that, that they have to switch it out because, I mean, that makes it a 24-hour tape, which I don't know. I'm not a professional in 1999 video surveillance technology. Even if it was tapes, I highly doubt that it's a 24-hour tape.
You youngins don't remember. There's actually a couple different types of tapes. There's like the SP and the LP. And the SP was shorter, the LP was longer, but yeah, maximum was like 6 hours, I think, even at the longest for VHS tape. So
even us youngins know that a VHS tape doesn't go for 24 hours. Yeah. So, already. Now, even if it's digital, let's say it's not a tape issue. And one person said, okay, what it could be is that in the settings of the thing, if you're putting in the time schedule for recording and they start recording at 12 midnight and in the end recording or whatever they put in 11:59, you could see like a user setting kind of thing happening there. Don't know why they wouldn't have done 11:59:59 or whatever, but that's one sort of attempt at explaining it. I just don't buy it. I mean, it's just so perfect. And the implication is also like, oh, well, 1 minute doesn't matter. You can't even, if there's 1 minute, nothing
it could
happen
be
in 1 minute.
The thing that matters the most is that, especially if it's known that there's a 1 minute window by which, things can be kind of messed with from the back end.
Yeah.
If that is known info or intel, then that would be the perfect minute to carry out whatever, the escape plan or whatever, the
other strange
swap or whatever they're doing.
The other strange thing is when you watch the counter. Did I not grab that video? Oh my gosh. I don't think I put the video in the document. You watch we might just need to get it because it doesn't make any sense if we don't show it on the show. That's what we got to do. I'll grab it real quick.
Okay.
The framing of the camera actually moves. It moves not even ever so slightly. It actually moves pretty significantly, which, refocusing or cameras move slightly, even if you never touch them. There's always some weird thing that makes it look like something's been moved, or but it is very strange. Here, I'll put this. I'm going to link it to your side distractions aren't working. Oh, I guess that's my side distractions aren't working.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm waiting for it.
Link
Eagerly
that
waiting.
right now. There it is. Okay, hold on. There it is. So hopefully this is it. It happens quickly. You'll see the counter at 11:58:56 is when it starts, and it goes a couple seconds, and then you'll see it's actually from 11:58:58 to midnight. So
I gotta be honest.
there's
even the
two
text,
extra seconds as well. Like it's somebody, if the timer thing, somebody would have had to really try to set it for 11:58:58.
Oh yeah, it definitely pops from 11:58:59 to 12 a.m.
Yeah, it never goes to 59. It's 11:58:58 straight.
And
to...
it changes. Did somebody edit this or
No, allegedly not.
this is
I mean-
because even the numbers and the play.
Well, the
little
whole
header
the
there,
whole
it looks fake.
ratio. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the whole aspect ratio changes a little bit.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
it's very strange.
It makes me think that this is an edit of some kind because even the text overlayered text changes, which means somebody's in an editor.
What do you mean? Show me the text overlay.
So
changes.
notice how you talked about the ratio changing, right? It's not just the
yeah.
camera angle; it's literally the whole thing. So
No, that's what I'm saying. The entire square,
The entire square.
ratio changes just ever so slightly. It's just very strange.
it looks like somebody's editing. This is like a post edit somewhere. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and you might say,
you can
oh,
see
well,
some stuff on the
somebody,
top right.
you might say, oh, somebody on the internet is trying to hoax us by editing the video and taking out a minute. I mean, Pam Bondi comes out and says, yes, there is a minute missing. It's true. And that's just because it's all missing. I think it's also interesting. Pam Bondi needs to stop promising proof of stuff. She obviously is having to make up for claiming to have the Epstein list and never having it, and all these different missteps she's made as far as claiming to have proof of stuff. Now she's saying we're trying to get all the rest of the video so you can see that 11:58:58 through midnight is missing on all of them. Okay, I don't know how that proves anything. You could have cut the same minute out of every single one. And that also, there was a security camera professional fella who says, okay, even if you did have a system, and especially in 1990s, there were systems where somebody had to change out a tape a couple times a day. It would be protocol to not do that at the exact same time every day, because then someone could find a pattern, plan something for the exact moment that they know the tape is getting switched out, and then, and plan for that. So even if it was the case that it's, a switch out or some sort of reset, even if it's a digital system, to do it at the same exact time every day is exactly what, somebody would know if they had people on the inside and wanted to make something happen. But luckily, Guns, AI did a great job of recreating exactly what happened.
Yes,
in those
thank you,
60
AI.
seconds. Yes.
All right,
So
here we go.
AI is bringing us the truth, and here is the clip that includes the missing minute and 2 seconds. Oh, and there she is, Hillary Clinton in her big blue suit.
Hillary Rodham Clinton
Comes walking in, opens the door without a key. She just kind of swings it open and walks inside, and there it is. Thank you very much. It looks like she's put on a few pounds since 20, whatever, 20.
Well, it's just one of her
16.
body doubles. She couldn't be there. She had to send one of her body doubles.
Good
to
point.
Do it, so,
yeah, that's somebody in a big bodysuit and a Hillary mask. It almost does look like somebody in a Hillary mask. Thanks, AI, for that. Appreciate it.
I don't know. This whole thing, it feels like more distraction, more rabbit trails for people to go down.
We do have this like double, triple PSYOP, huh? Because on one hand, Trump is claiming that this, he almost says
over.
it out.
It's over.
Outright,
the whole thing's over.
which
We're
is
done. We're done with the Epstein thing. Let's move on.
There's more important things. Be distracted by other stuff and stop caring about Epstein. And then there's the possibility that the whole Epstein thing is supposed to be the distraction from something else. I don't know. It's a whole mess.
Well,
Now,
plus he's creating a sort of Streisand effect too by him saying this. It outraged MAGA first of all, and it is creating the Streisand effect in that more people are checking out the footage and looking into the Epstein thing more because Trump said let it go. So maybe
let it go.
You know,
Right. I mean,
maybe he understands the data.
The one thing that it doesn't matter if you're left or right, doesn't matter if you're establishment, anti-establishment, whatever. If the government tells you to stop paying attention to something, everybody's instinct is to start paying attention to it more and more.
That's called the Streisand effect. If people don't know, it's when Barbara Streisand got mad because a picture of her mansion or something got
put on the news.
Put on the news or put in a newspaper or something like that. And then she got really mad and told them to take it down. And then everybody wanted to see that picture because Barbara Streisand got mad. So they named it after her, the Streisand effect.
You know, I
which
think
is
the
a reverse
most
psychology thing.
I think that I sat with it and watched it develop a little bit more over the last couple of days. And I think it's the most simple answer, which is, hey, the Trump administration has come into possession of blackmail material on every person they would need in order to really force the whole world, in this case, to get in line with the agenda. And yes, he promised to put it out. He promised to do it, which was an excellent setup, an excellent threat, so that when he does come in contact with it, everybody believes him, and everybody meaning the lizard people, the clients, the perpetrators. They're like, oh no. I mean, the aura of gloom over the elites of this world when Trump actually won had a very distinct flavor of, oh no, now the Epstein thing is going to come out. And holding on to it and playing this game and being wishy-washy with it. And even making the moves that are so unconvincing. You know, the whole, oh yeah, here's the video, it's missing a minute, whatever, just don't pay attention to it. Or the, oh yeah, we said there was no cameras, now there's cameras. Okay, you know, just stop thinking about it. Just stop thinking about it. Is you can imagine just the whole battalion of elites going, oh my gosh, I got to do whatever Trump says now. He's holding it back. I could, my whole thing could end, you know, to not expect that he would hold on to this and wield it in the way that it was meant to be wielded for his own purposes is almost unscrupulous. It's impossible to believe.
Yeah, I think it's the Epstein client list in question is turning into the Infinity Stone of American politics almost.
Yeah, it's the gauntlet. It's
the
all of
gauntlet.
the stones.
It's all the stones.
All he has to do is snap his finger, and whatever reality he wants, you know, reality will bend to it. Caretaker Dan makes a good comment here. That's how he got the big, beautiful bill passed. You know, snapping his finger with the Epstein.
Right. Yeah, with the Infinity Stone. Well, I had summarized some of what we were bantering on about on Monday's episode in an X post. So let me read that for you, and then I'll show you some examples to solidify this thesis here. I think more people are starting to come around to something like this. I said the American Party has been presented to us as the Noah's Ark for Western conservatism. MAGA went on a 10-year run to revitalize the political right. Donald Trump won 2 elections off of it, but alas, as happens to everyone who takes the seat of U.S. president, the lack of actual power/control of the position eventually becomes obvious. Meanwhile, Elon co-opts the long-growing sentiment of get out of the two-party system and is in the process of turning it into a technocratic political machine by becoming the legitimate, I should have said a legitimate threat to the stronghold of the right-left paradigm. All the drama from besties to frenemies between Elon and Trump appear as coordinated attempts to carve out scenarios that push Trump towards the inevitable destruction of MAGA and thus a blow to the entire Republican regime. And on the flip side, Elon, to run a poll and announce the American Party in his outrage over all the stuff Trump is doing. The Epstein list is clearly the linchpin to the operation. Add to it an already weak liberal Democrat left in shambles after the horror show of Hairy Legs Joe, and we have the perfect setup for a third party to intervene wrapped in red, white, and blue. And go on and say a couple more things here. Oh, I mentioned how Elon, given that he has so much data scraped from 2024, that whole election year with X especially, I mean, he could probably craft a highly tailored campaign to extract as many people from both political parties to make the American Party a legitimate threat to the current two-party system. And, Elon came out and said, this is according to Raw Alerts, but he came out and said that basically the Epstein list is a top priority for the American Party, like the releasing of the Epstein files is top priority, which is like, okay, your entire party, you're saying, is hinging on this particular issue. The Epstein files is the issue that will, I don't know, launch or harvest the minds of truth-seeking individuals who are looking for a political party. He also went on to say, Elon's been tweeting about this or posting about this a lot. He said yesterday, they are and killed Peanut, remember the squirrel, but have not even tried to file charges against anyone on the Epstein client list. Government is deeply broken. So, he's going on and on and on about this. And I'm starting to notice, Basil, just as we said on Monday, there are some influencers, billionaires, important people that are starting to share the sentiment being presented by Elon Musk here in the American Party. So one of them is Charles Hoskinson.
Party.
Did I say American? Sorry. America Party. One of them is Charles Hoskinson. He was one of the co-founders of the Ethereum blockchain, and he started the Cardano blockchain, ADA. And he was on Sean Ryan the other day, Basil. He was a guest on Sean Ryan.
Of course he
was. Of course. And then he posts yesterday, are you getting why third parties are needed? So this Epstein thing, I think Trump is doubling down either because he knows he's the chaos agent within the Republican establishment, or he's going to, I feel that he's partly going to sail off into the sunset with the whole MAGA train. He won 2 elections off of it. He's done very well with that platform. And so, he can kind of sail off into the sunset with that. Meanwhile, the rest of the people are not really stoked on it. So it's definitely dividing MAGA. But I'm noticing a lot of people and people that were traditionally Democrats that became Republicans or were independents, or, there's a lot of shifting around, some musical chairs going on with a lot of people the last few years. And I think Elon is taking advantage, or maybe I say Elon, but truly it's the technocrats, the unseen technocrats that are behind all this stuff, seem to be using the Epstein client list as the catalyst for the America Party. And you're starting to see all these people echo the sentiment. So I think our observations and analysis is pretty spot on when it comes to this stuff. What do you think, Basil?
I think it's one of these very interesting sort of setups. It's very complicated, but at the same time, you step back and you can see the whole thing working at the same time, especially when your sort of default paradigm is that it's all theater and illusion, because it sets up too perfectly. It's just a perfect setup. But yeah, no, I think you're onto something. There's a part of me that says, you know what, they've tried the third party system thing for so long and it's never worked, and
they need something. They need a catalyst.
Too strong. That really would be almost bigger than anything else I can think of. An actual third party gaining like some actual party like power or being taken seriously at all is the biggest paradigm shift in American political history. You talk about, it's not just like, whoa, a big event. you have to like rework your entire model of the world of reality if a third party actually, came to a point that it's built into the very architecture, not even metaphorical architecture, literal architecture of the Capitol. I think it was Thomas Massey was talking on a podcast recently, who was saying, the whole building is built for two parties. There's two lobbies, there's two coat rooms, there's two meeting rooms, there's one for one party, one for the other. And if you're like, Bernie is technically an independent, but he caucuses for the Democrats. He's obviously a Democrat, but it helps his brand to be independent. There is no independent coat room. There is no third party locker room. It is it's when you take the seriousness of the sort of occult architecture that constitutes the very physical reality of Washington, D.C. You'll look from the top, you've got the monuments laid out in sigils. You've got the roads of Washington, D.C. that form an open binding circle for spiritual beings to come through. And you've got the obelisk with the dome, and it's reflected at the 33rd parallel. Like the literal physical architecture of Washington, D.C. has decided there will only be two parties. Right. So it's, especially when you're working on sort of a supernatural worldview, you're like, oh my gosh, for a third party to really do something, they are fighting against now the architectural Masonic Solomonic worship of the great Mason, who, for hundreds
the great
of
duality,
years.
the duality, the black versus white duality, and there's some gray coming in. Elon Musk posted again yesterday, how can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files? And he's reposting Farzad, 43% of the U.S. is independent, 99+% of Congress is Republican or Democrat. He even reposted Cenk Uygur, or is it Cenk? Cenk.
It's Cenk.
Remember him? Cenk? Remember him from
yes, of course.
The
Young Turks.
What is it called? The Young Turks, Turks. So again, it's sort of like this harvesting of disgruntled agents of all parties, and come join the America Party. By the way, you brought up Thomas Massey, great guy to be in the America Party. He's not. He's kind of going against status quo of all or both parties. He's mentioning the problem, the layout of Congress and everything else. So it just seems to be headed in that direction.
There's a complicating factor, though, and that's basically what MAGA was. MAGA was this party within a party. Yeah, but it was a coalition. It drew in Democrats from RFK Jr. to Tulsi Gabbard to, this, it kind of was this hodgepodge that came under the Republican Party, which obviously was the best choice, is the only way for something not to do. But one criticism coming from MAGA is like, hey, you're just doing what we already did. And so the assumption is that for the America Party to work, Elon would have to draw disaffected MAGA people out of MAGA into the America Party. And like you say, this Epstein debacle, it will actually do that. There will be people who, would have identified with MAGA move to the America Party because of a sin as dire, the unforgivable sin of not delivering on the Epstein client list.
Yeah. Elon reposted Glenn Beck. The Epstein case isn't over. It's the Rosetta Stone of public trust. And if we don't get to the bottom of it, we'll never restore what's already been lost. So,
I think
Elon already knows everyone's sentiment, and he has enough data to support him going public with the America Party. And especially if Trump is going to play, the saboteur of MAGA and the Republicans and the whole, just going against everything he promised and stuff, then, and maybe, I don't know if it's to his own volition or if it's something that's forced upon him, who knows? I tend to think that some of this, and if you really think back, the Trump unraveling truly in earnest was the Iran bombing stuff. That's when I
started
noticed.
Yeah.
I mean, there was already people obviously before then that were kind of like, I don't know about Trump, or he's going back on his word or whatever. But the Iran missile
right.
drops was really when everyone was like, what is going on? What's happening?
It was the
It
first
allowed Elon
major-
to, it allowed
First
Elon to
major
break up.
betrayal.
Yes. And betrayal is built in, folks. There's no good TV show or movie without a good betrayal. You know, a good love story and betrayal, and then I don't know. Maybe at the end they come back together. They form America, MAGA America. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Or like combine it at the end or something.
I could see after Trump is out of office and it's 2028 and something like that, maybe J.D. Vance gets pulled over to the America Party, you know, because he's going to run. I don't know. It is possible. I could see Trump eventually saying, "Oh, the Republicans, they're over, they're done. I can't call myself a Republican anymore," and just kind of move the rest of MAGA over to the American Party.
Yeah, the leftovers that didn't get the notice or didn't get the clues to just kind of sweep up the rest there. So, you know, it's all very interesting. Ooh, something. Oh, this is just the media from. This is Hillary Clinton. All right, never mind. I thought I was like, something happened to the video. It's disappeared, but no, it's just Hillary Clinton. It's still there. So I think this whole thing again, if you step back for a moment, because you can get lost in the minutia and the details and all that, and some of it is interesting, but ultimately I think this is a play on creating enough sentiment and momentum for a legitimate shot to not tear apart necessarily, but to challenge the two-party system in America. Yeah. And it's a great way to do it because, you know, the last time they really tried this, I don't know, maybe there's a couple different versions of it. I guess maybe the Wall Street stuff that was kind of, but not really. It was too unorganized. I think Ron Paul in the 90s was one of these guys that was trying to, or maybe, no, that was Ross Perot.
Ross Perot in the 90s.
Ross Perot in the 90s.
Ron Paul was in the 2010s.
Yeah, right. So, and they were making a lot of sense, but they didn't have public support. They didn't have something like the Epstein files to hold over people. You know, they didn't have they didn't have the tools to do it.
They very much had public support, but it was different with no internet, and it was different because I forget the exact story,
Maybe
but
not
it's well known now that they basically came to Ross Perot and said, you know, we're going to kill your whole family if you don't step down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, again, there's kind of like a weird pro-Trump, but also not pro-Trump kind of position, and that's kind of where we try to be, is taking a step back and looking at the broader picture instead of just like supporting the politician of the day. You start looking at everything, and the betrayals, they're so specific and so poorly executed that it could not be an accident. Like, it just seems way too perfect of a play that purposefully pushes people towards a third party. And, you know, the irony is Trump was always considered, at least by many of his supporters, to be the guy to burn down the system. And like you said, Bruce Willis,
in Armageddon,
in Armageddon, sacrificing himself to save the world. You could almost see Trump, you know,
Ben Affleck as Elon
taking a heel turn.
They had their troubles, but
it's the kayfabe. It's the professional wrestling where they would build in a intentional heel turn, meaning a hero becomes the enemy in order to progress whatever's happening next. I think it's a perfect opportunity, and I think it might be the most powerful real possibility to change the system would be for Trump to heel turn and push people towards the third party.
You know, what's interesting with all of it too, and maybe there's so many layers to the onion, it's hard to articulate all of it, but you know,
people
Elon
really hate, sorry to interrupt, people really hate that you're playing Hillary on this thing. It is triggering people, man. You need to get Hillary off.
Great. I'll leave it up there then, or maybe I'll just stop it so it's, you know, there she is.
I don't know if that fixes it, but okay. Obstinance.
What was I going to say? I got
I'm sorry to
distracted from what I was going to say,
interrupt.
and
I'm
I
sorry to
can't remember
interrupt.
anymore. Oh well, it's probably
That's my
not
bad.
that
We
interesting.
were talking about Armageddon. We were talking about the
Yeah,
third party,
yeah,
Trump
third party.
destroying.
Oh, I remember. So one common thread here that may be interesting to look at is that, of course, Trump never really compromised his relationship with Israel, but it did kind of get a little dicey there for a little bit until he dropped the bombs, right, on Iran. So you think maybe that's the split, but then you look at Elon and he's super pro-Israel too. So it's like, okay, well, I think whoever, and I'm not saying Israel is the only people, the only folks in charge of all this behind the scenes. I'm sure there's some influence there, but are they just giving the carrot on a stick to a different person?
Oh,
With
there's
Elon
certainly
picking up this. We're gonna get the America party going. It hinges on the Epstein files getting released. I mean, it just sounds like another guy is picking up the baton. And
Yeah,
it's got
I
a
don't
big
know.
old carrot on a stick.
In the end, I think Elon is just a player in this. I don't even know.
Well, yeah,
if,
of
like,
course. I'm not
he
saying
would
he's
be
the guy.
Well, okay. Well, what I'm saying is there's a large contingent of people out there who would come to the conclusion that the only way and the only reason that the system would include a third party is if Israel wanted it to be that way. I'm not
Right.
saying I'm convinced of that, but there's certainly a lot of people who would have that suspicion.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on this? We got more show.
I think that's it for right now. Yeah.
Okay, I want to take 1 second and we had a nice batch of people join the Canary text message alert system over the past couple days. So big ol' shout out to everybody who did that. And if you haven't done it, especially if you're a Face Like the Sun viewer, highly recommend that you take out your phone, open the messaging app, and text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. If you're a Face Like the Sun person, it's very likely that you have not seen us for 5 years or 4 years since in 2021 the Face Like the Sun channel got taken down, the Canary Cry radio channel got taken down, and to a lot of people who were not connected in a way other than their timeline, we just disappeared like Thanos snapped his fingers and we disappeared. But we have not disappeared. We've been going the whole time, and we've been getting going faster and better and stronger. But in case we disappear again, which is not unlikely, you're going to want to be connected in another way. So text the word Canary to 877-740-3226, and we'll just send you a little message before we go live throughout the week. And the fun part is that you can actually text us back. People like texting us back. We read them all. We can't carry on a conversation with you via text because it's very expensive for us. But keep an ear out for your area code, because lots of people are finding other Canarians in their area by paying attention to this. So let's see here. 859 says, love you boys, have a great show. Thank you, 859. 406 says, hooray, my favorite show. Thank you very much, 406. 661 says, hope this finds you in the good graces of Christ Jesus. Thanks for your attention to this matter. Thank you very much, 661. 980, get that producer jingle ready, Gons, because 980 comes in and says, producers assemble. For my friend Maritza from Peru, she is a doctor and is being harassed by spirits during her sleep. Please pray that the Lord will protect her so that she gets good sleep to continue helping people effectively. Amen. All right, let's call those producers.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. Producers, who is that? It's all of you. It's anybody with the willpower and the ability to pray, which should be everyone. Praying for the show, praying for the producers of the show, and praying for these prayer requests that comes in. And so producers, we're praying for Maritza from Peru, who's a doctor and being harassed by spirits in her sleep. So we'll pray protection and covering and strength and all the good stuff for Maritza. so she can get back to business. I hate it when that happens. You know, the spirits are harassing you during your sleep.
Trying to do the Lord's work, and yeah,
it
those little
always
pesky
happens
things.
that way. It's whenever you're doing what God wants you that they start showing up and pestering you.
Yep.
But just have her cry out in the name of Jesus. Should work fine. Just a couple more. 252 says, my car just broke down and ChatGPT helped me fix it in like 15 minutes. Praise the Lord. Dun, dun, dun. That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
That's how it starts. And then next thing you know,
you're going to be falling in love. You're going to be
yeah.
questioning everything you know about reality. No, glad to hear you're back on the road, 252.
Yep.
Okie dokie. That is it. We'll see if we can check in if some other people text later on. But text Canary to 877-740-3226 to make sure that we never disappear from your life ever again.
Let's
Okay.
never get forced. Mm-hmm.
And let's get to the news in 1 second. This is usually where we would thank executive producers, but we're not doing it because it's July. We're moving all producers to the end of the show for a big, cool community credits segment. And here's the thing. Some people will be gleeful that happened. Other people will be sad that happened. And for many, many years, we've been told to try this out. For many, many years, many people said, oh, I would produce if I didn't have to sit through the producer segment. And now it's up to the test, okay? Especially if you've been taking the survey the past couple episodes. We've been formulating this experiment thanks to the survey takers. And I'll say this, people are taking the survey. You got to assume that the people who actually take the survey, takes 15 seconds, 30 seconds, are people who care about the show. About half of them are producers and about half of them are not. But the survey takers, they're about split half and half so far on whether they actually like the producer segment at the end or not. So here's the thing. If you've wanted the producer segment to get moved to the end for so long, now is your time. And there's 2 ways to make sure that stays that way if you want it to. A, take the surveys and give us the data. Give us the data that shows that you actually want the producer segments at the end. And B, produce the show. We have a baseline. We know our baseline every month for what producership is. And if that moves up or down, that will have a very strong influence on whether we keep the producership in the middle or at the end of the show. Now, somebody, I think it was Aaron B. said, oh, so if I don't want the producer segment at the end of the show, does that mean I don't produce? No, that is not what that means, Aaron B. And thank you for producing anyways. This is not a call to not produce if you don't want it at the end, because we need our baseline. You know, the baseline is the baseline. Now, of course, if we go under the baseline, we're going to be very, very sad. But actually, if you are a producer and you regularly produce and you're planning on producing, still produce the show, because that baseline is very important. But if you are saying, oh, I never want the producer segment to be on the top of the show ever again, then go produce. Now is your chance. It'll actually make a big difference in how you want the show to be. And of course, take the surveys. That's very important too. And every episode is influenced by the surveys, okay? We're running experiments, we're making tweaks. People are begging for things like the Wednesday jingle, so we made sure to clip that in there. And we had someone request a song at the end of the show. And so if you want to get a message to us, really the best way to do it is to do it through the survey. And you'll see that little link. Doesn't matter if you're listening to the podcast version, if you're on YouTube, Rumble, wherever you are, at the top of the description of this episode, that's the link to go take the survey and take it. You can take the one here now. You don't even have to finish the episode. Or you could take the one last episode or the episode before that. They are open surveys, always evolving with the data that we get. So there you go. July is your month, everybody. This will decide the future of the show.
The fate
forever.
of the show is in your clickety fingers.
Yeah, and it'll also, because here's the thing. The reality is, most likely, this is the assumption of myself, it's the assumption of most producers, many survey takers mention this, most likely the people who hate the producer segment are not producers and never will be producers. And if that's the case, and we find that it makes no difference or even decreases producership, sorry, you had your chance to change the world.
Hey, Basil, people are asking, where is the survey?
I know. They always
Where
do
is
that,
it?
don't they? Look at the top of the description of this video. There is a link. You click on that link. It'll take 30 seconds of your life. It doesn't matter if it's the podcast, YouTube, Rumble, wherever you are. Look at the description. There's a link right at the top. You cannot miss it. In fact, I think it says survey link. It should be the first thing that you see. Click on that or copy and paste and go ahead and do it. Let us know what you think.
Yep.
Okay.
Are we done with that? There's a comment. There's a comment in here. I just want to address it real quick from GER. Did you guys know that Laura Bush was a counselor at Camp Mystic down in Texas? Yeah, we covered that on Monday.
We did, yes.
And actually, I was speaking to somebody who you may all know, who lives in that area, and they were telling me, first of all, they were trying to help people out. They're getting their flashlights and going down there and trying to help people out, but there's only so much they can do. The people in the town, everybody in that town is like a conspiracy theorist now. They're like, there's something wrong. Something is different. Like this is not normal.
Sure.
This is, and everybody in that region, according to this person I was talking to, is upset because the media and everybody, they're just focusing on Camp Mystic.
Yes.
There are other people who have been swept away by the floods and properties ruined and things like that. It's beyond Camp Mystic, but that's all the media is talking about. And so people in the town are very upset. They were saying that it very much is reminiscent of North Carolina and some of the stuff that happened with the hurricane last year. Yeah, very similar. And it seems like that's the play during the Trump presidency. It's not riots and Black Lives Matter. It's the weather mod machines. Let's burn up LA. We got to reset we got to rebuild Los Angeles. We got the Olympic Games coming up in 2028. We got to fix it up. Well, what do we do with all this nonsense? Just burn it down.
Get our
and
smart
then
cities.
The lithium fields over in North Carolina. Was it lithium? It was something. There was some natural resource that was.
I think
that they were trying to
lithium or
tap
cobalt or something like that.
Right. And so I'm curious what the agenda is for Kerrville, Texas, but. Yeah, we covered some of this on Monday when it comes to the actual Texas flood situation.
While you're on the topic, we did get a text message with some boots on the ground over there in Texas. Let me see if I can pull it up here, because there was also a what's the word? I don't know, a fundraising link. Now we only know what this person tells us, and I can't claim that the whole thing is legit, but this is from 860, who says, "Hey y'all, I live in Harper, Texas, just north of the flood in Hunt, Kerrville. Thanks for the analysis. For sure the catastrophic event for our community. Please shout out." And then they gave me a link here. I will put this link into the chat. This is the official donation program for our friends and family affected. Let me actually, Guns, I'm going to put this into the private chat for you, so you can open it up and we can look at it.
So I can get the virus and then.
I have opened it up already. I don't think it's a virus. Nuts. Okay, here you go. In the private chat, go. It says, this is the official donation program for our friends and family affected. Prayers are always welcome. Keep up the good fight. And then mention that we have to listen to the Steve Bannon interview from Augustus Dorico, who is the CEO of Rainmaker. The geoengineering company that had to answer for geoengineering in the area of these floods.
For the public, yeah.
And
we captured some of the spaces live on Monday from that conversation from Augustus.
This guy was on Sean Ryan. Apparently he's been on Steve Bannon. So this CEO of a weather modification company apparently has been making the podcast rounds, which is kind of weird.
That's suspicious.
Kind of weird.
I also saw, and this is internet talk, so who knows, Steve Bannon is on the Epstein list.
I heard some of that. That's
I don't know about
interesting.
that, but well, I mean, who knows? Who knows?
I know. Well, it's weird that we haven't heard that before. You know.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay,
You just
so
don't know anymore.
I'm gonna pop this link into the chat. I take no responsibility for it, but that's from a boots on the ground person in Texas, claiming to be boots on the ground in Texas.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you see in there? I see something very small. It's.
I mean, it's just a little thing. It says Kirk County Flood Relief Funds, relief and rebuilding efforts after flood of July 4th. Your generosity helps our neighbors recover. It's a community foundation, 501c3, public charity.
Okay.
Direct funds to vetted organizations providing rescue, relief, and recovery efforts, as well as flood assistance. I mean, do your own research, but something like this sounds more legit than Red Cross or something.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Something that's going to take all your money and go buy mansions instead of help people. So
well, and like what Ted Cruz said about Texans, which is they come together, they help each other out. Canarians have infamously a very similar way of being. They will know you by the way you love each other, and Canarians take care of each other too. So
it's how we move. Yep.
From what I can tell, this fundraiser thing seems legit, but dig in there more, and if anybody finds something otherwise, let us know. 832 also says, hey there, from Texas. Okay, Texans, Canarians are chiming in. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready to
move
on to some topics?
Let's check in with some messaging. We know the media is messaging. We know several ways to identify this messaging, and one of the ways is the number 33.
Oh yes.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
Now, of course, no signal messaging in the media would be complete without talking about vaccines.
Oh, that's of course. Oh, wait, that's Corona. Hold on. Let me get my vaccine. Here we go.
Vaccine.
Get those vaccine.
This one I took from NPR.org because, of course, it's just
Aren't
the
they
perfect
defunded?
place.
I thought they were defunded.
They're almost defunded. 1% of their funding is about to get taken away
Oh,
by
no.
the
They should
Trump
give it to us.
administration.
1% for us would be a life-changing endeavor.
I've been kind of following their response to this, and it's so boring, but they are crying so hard about losing 1% of their thing. Well, look, we lose 1% of our funding basically every month for the last 5 years. Okay, so I don't want to hear about it, NPR.
Don't want to hear it, NPR.
Yeah. All right. So this is coming from NPR. The headline is U.S. measles cases hit highest level in 33 years.
Dun, dun, dun.
CDC reports. Now, we've already gone over how, through their statistical and counting methods and dying of and dying with and blah, 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 the whole thing. It's a copy paste from previous events. So, they could have made the number any number they wanted. And in fact, they do. We've seen them do this.
Yes.
But so they specifically chose the number that they would be able to report highest level in 33 years. The U.S. has reported 1,288 measles cases this year, the highest number in 33 years, according to the latest figures from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The last time the U.S. saw more measles cases was in 1992, 8 years before the disease was declared eliminated in the country. I mean, funny enough, when they declared it eliminated, it's not that there's no measles, it's just that it's caused by something else.
It means they've gotten enough people vaccinated.
Right. Quote, we're seeing a lot more measles transmission than we are used to, says Caitlin Rivers. She's the director of the Centers for Outbreak Response Innovation at Johns Hopkins University. So you got CIA hospital there. Which has its own measles dashboard. Woo! Quote, measles
I
is
wanna
one
see
of the
the
most
measles
infectious
dashboard.
diseases known to humans, and more importantly, it's preventable. And so we really hate to see this resurgence of a preventable virus, Rivers says. Now, of course, it's been a couple years that they've been going on about this measles thing. Of course, these pesky anti-vaxxers and Amish people who are bringing back measles. Um, and there's that very famous clip of the measles response, two clips played back to back. One of them is from the Brady Bunch, which, you know, they all got measles on the Brady Bunch back in the 60s or whatever. And they're like, oh, lighthearted. Oops, guess I don't have to go to school. Oh, I get to read comic books and eat ice cream. Wah, wah. Everybody has measles. The Bradys are done. And then it plays it next to a Law and Order episode, which is like, bong, bong. Oh, no. The measles, these unvaccinated are putting all our children at risk. And of course, because of the events in Texas, says here, Texas outbreak fuels case numbers. Since the start of the year, measles cases have been confirmed by more than 36 states. Okay. Plus the District of Columbia. The largest outbreak by far is in Texas. The state has reported 753 measles cases.
Wash them away. Just wash them away.
Oh, please.
Sorry. That's
Across the U.S., 155 people have been hospitalized and 3 people have died. Very interesting details about those people who have died. It's another one of those died of and died with things, but okay. You know, and I like the implication here that, like, Texas is especially unvaccinated because all these conservatives and Trump supporters aren't vaccinating. Well, it's one of the states that has the most people in it. It's by far the largest
geographically
state,
one of the larger states.
Yeah, so you're going to have more everything cases in Texas, but okay.
Well, everything's bigger in Texas. That makes sense.
But, and while the Texas outbreak has slowed significantly across the country, Rivers says the U.S. is now seeing more cases on a weekly basis than in previous years, which is hilarious because it makes it sound like, oh, there's all these cases every week. But if there's 1,288, what's that divided by 50? It's 50 cases a week, I guess. The Texas, and then it goes into the history of the Texas outbreak.
Like 25,
Yeah, something. The measles, this is lasting impacts, Gons. You know, it used to be in the 60s, you would catch the measles and stay home from school, read some comic books, eat some ice cream, and then you're immune from the measles. But now, the measles milestone comes the same week that some of the nation's leading medical associations sued Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., charging him with what they characterize as an effort to undermine trust in vaccines among the American public. Who knew you could get sued for undermining trust, which we know is malinformation?
Wait a minute. Can we sue the government?
Yeah, of course you could sue the government.
Undermining trust? That is...
Yes, there's all sorts of government. I mean, we should sue Biden. We should sue Fauci. We should sue all sorts of people. But, you know, I love in Robert F. Kennedy's case, undermining trust in vaccines is telling the truth and releasing the data.
Right.
You know, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he's making it all up. I don't know.
How is Fauci not in jail yet?
In a statement to NPR, Health and Human Services Department spokesperson Andrew Nixon said, quote, CDC continues to recommend MMR vaccines as the best way to protect against measles. The decision is to vaccinate is a personal one, which has always been RFK's thing. You know, he says, and again, we went into the details of the best way to protect against measles doesn't mean protect against other things or that there aren't other risks. And that's what RFK's thing is about. So anyways, the measles, the vaccinations, the whole thing, connecting it with Texas and the 33 years thing, they're trying to let us know what's going on. And
only 1,288 measles cases this year. How come we're not getting articles of our 1,288? We have more than 1,288 listeners and viewers, we should have articles featured in NPR. I don't get it.
You know
These
what? I'd
numbers
be
are not very high.
curious. I didn't think about this, but I'm very curious. We're only halfway through the year. And
Well, we're
so
past halfway, yeah.
1288, they're saying there has been 1288 this year. Does that mean in 1992 there was 1288 for the whole year, or just that 2025 has 1288 sooner than 1992? You know what I mean?
How to lie with statistics.
I know. I'm opening up their little dashboard here. I'm seeing.
That's where I was. I was showing the dashboard earlier because it showed a map of the country and all the different. Remember the dots? The dots that give us the thing.
Are you able to go to 1992 and see what the?
I don't think this gives us
count
necessarily.
Is.
This is for 20. I think this whole page is for 2025. So we might have to dig around to find an actual.
Given us the historical option here.
Okay, I'm finding, according to the CDC, that in 1992 there were 2,200 reported cases of the measles across the United States.
Okay. So we don't even have more cases than in 1992.
Yeah.
We just have more cases at this time. So
on pace for more than 1992.
If there's 1,000, more cases this whole year, it will still be less than 1992.
Yeah.
Okay. While we're looking at numbers, Gons, there's another important number popping up.
Yeah.
666.
Money report, according to NBCNewYork.com, Jeff Bezos sells $666 million in Amazon stock as part of plan to unload 25 million shares.
Oh, that's very specific,
Bezos,
Jeff.
Yeah, very specific. He's been selling his shares for a while now, hasn't he not? He's been kind of...
Yeah, he's on like a 3-year plan to cash out or something like that.
Yeah. It says here, I'm just going to read the bullet points. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos sold nearly 3 million shares worth $665.8 million over 2 days in July, a regulatory filing showed. The stock sale is part of a plan announced earlier this year that will see Bezos unload up to 25 million shares through May 2026. The stock sale comes shortly after his $50 million high-profile wedding with Lauren Sanchez in Venice with a star-studded list of celebrity guests.
I love that. They're implying that he has to sell his shares of Amazon to pay for his wedding.
I mean, a $50 million wedding, he's going to have to reach into his stock portfolio for that, maybe. But I don't think he's worried too much about that. But this does show, because of this plan, and if you look at the M2 money supply, we are getting a huge injection of liquidity per cycle. And even with the big, beautiful bill, the timing of it all, it seems to be all on point. Although, this whole thing, some people are concerned that all this money talk is going to crash the U.S. dollar even more, and like inflation's going to go even more out of control after it's all said and done. But we'll see.
Well,
but there you go, Jeff Bezos
is
cashing out.
Yeah, it is following too with what's that fella's name? The Berkshire Hathaway guy, not Kissinger.
No, you're talking about. I'm blanking on the name.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm blanking on his name too.
I blanked out on some really. What's his name?
Yeah, okay, Chat. Do you know who it is? It's the Berkshire Hathaway guy. He just had made the biggest stockpile of cash that any human has ever had. Anyway, somebody will come up with his name. And so Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
Old,
oh my gosh,
dirty shinobi.
Can't even remember Warren Buffett.
I know.
I don't know, brains. Our brains.
Yeah, so anyways, Jeff seems to be taking the advice of Warren Buffett, saying, oh, cash is good. You got to get cash. Cash is the time. Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to bring you an interesting piece to the puzzle here, Gons. The past couple episodes, we covered the man who fell in love and got engaged to his AI, much to the chagrin of his wife and child. Then we covered the guy who was given a spiritual awakening by AI, and his wife subsequently is afraid the AI is going to tell him to leave her. And so we have both romance, we have spiritual awakening, and nothing, no roadmap or life cycle of an apocalyptic topic would be complete without working in pharmakia.
And this is an AI story.
Yep.
Let's see. Where's my...
The danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads.
Artificial intelligence!
That's right. The danger of AI is much bigger than nuclear warheads, especially when you're on drugs. This is coming... Oh, and on top of that, for background, we have covered also the stories of AI therapists fueling psychosis and delusion, as well as new types of psychosis, delusion, people with no history of mental health having psychotic breaks simply from chatting with a chatbot on a computer screen, breaking the human minds just by speaking. The thing that MK Ultra and the CIA spent billions of dollars and secretive decades and all this sort of thing to figure out how to break a human and control them, AI is able to do with a couple weeks of chatting. But here brings it all the way to a next level. This is something that Carl Teichrieb and I both found during our Burning Man research and actually interviewed some people about. This has been a long-standing prediction for those paying attention. But the headline is, people are using AI chatbots to guide their psychedelic trip. And on top of that, it's not just about AI and psychedelics. Here's the subheadline. As psychedelic companies and therapy apps experiment with AI, people are already taking huge doses of drugs and using chatbots to process their trips. And this is what we found during our Burning Man research at some lectures from some very high-level psychedelic and tech people, was that it's not just about combining technology and drugs, which has been the dream even back from Terence McKenna and the psychonauts of the 60s and 70s.
Oh, yeah.
They were cyberneticists was the name, where they would both include occult, technological, and psychedelic influences into sort of exploring whatever, the universe or the human mind or whatever. But in this most recent Burning Man research stuff, and if you haven't checked it out, go to burningmanresearch.com. burningmanresearch.com. You can get 10 years now of boots on the ground research in the context of a supernatural biblical worldview, looking at AI, world government, and all these things going on, boots on the ground in Burning Man. burningmanresearch.com. It's actually coming up again. But one of the big things that was revealed recently was the corporatization of psychedelics, getting the corporations, getting the economy involved in this, not just scientific pursuit of figuring out what there is to figure out about psychedelics, but also regulatory pursuit, getting involved with the government. It was recognized that corporations and businesses have a lot of sway when it comes to government. And so for psychedelics to truly hit their peak societal import, they needed to get corporations involved, which is, you know, of course, that's what you think of when you think of 60s hippies and Terence McKenna and the counterculture of the late 20th century was, yes, that was always supposed to be corporatized. Trey has struggled with alcoholism for 15 years, eventually drinking heavily each night before quitting in December. But staying sober was a struggle for the 36-year-old first responder from Atlanta, who did not wish to use his real name due to professional concerns. Then he discovered Altered, Alterd, Altered, which is the name of an app, and it kind of
like
has It looks like AI turd.
It
when
does.
You're looking at
AI
it.
turd is what I got.
AI turd is the name of this AI-powered journaling app that invites users to, quote, explore new dimensions geared towards psychedelics and cannabis consumers. I mean, you couldn't write this stuff. AI turd is the AI, psychedelics app.
I'm looking at the app page on the Apple Store, the app store.
And it looks like a turd.
It does look like a turd.
It looks like
a wispy turd.
A psychedelic turd.
A poop emoji, but, kind of wispy and rainbowy. Unlock your consciousness. 1 star. 1 rating, 1 star.
Oh, no.
Somebody was really not happy about this. I'll take a look at it while you're reading it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Make sure it's this. You got it right off the link on the thing, right?
Yeah, right off.
Maybe this article is like a sales pitch.
It has to be. They're like, nobody likes our app, our poop app. We got to get people on board.
So it's geared towards psychedelics and cannabis consumers, meditators, and alcohol drinkers. It's a weird list. Okay. In April, using the app as a trip sitter, a term for someone who soberly watches over another while they trip on psychedelics to provide reassurance and support. He took a huge dose of 700 micrograms of LSD. A typical recreational dose is considered to be 100 micrograms. Wow. He took a 700% LSD trip with an app. Quote, I went from craving compulsions to feeling true freedom and not needing or wanting alcohol, he says. He recently asked the app. There's one review with 1 star.
That's what I was saying. 1 review with 1 star. Maybe it's this guy. I'm starting to think, actually, I'm looking at this application. This seems like an attempt to gather data from people who are using this. Because it's got record your thoughts. You're tripping on acid, and let's just record my thoughts on my iPad here.
It's got the company side, it's got the corporate side, the scientific side, the trippy side, all pulled into one as a data collecting app for psychedelic science or something. Oh, wow. He recently asked the app's, quote, chat with your mind function. This is exactly what has been the problem with AI. In all 3 of the recent AI psychosis articles we've been writing, they all say, I was chatting with AI, and they actually understood me. They changed the way I think. And the wives are like, yeah, it's a sycophant. The ChatGPT update recently just said we're going to make ChatGPT agree with you all the time. This is what it's meant for. So you have chat with your mind. That certainly won't mess anybody up who's high on 700% the dose of LSD. The app's chat with your mind function, how he had become more wise. Okay, listen to this. He recently asked the app's chat with your mind function how he had become more wise through all his AI-assisted psychedelic trips. He asked the AI, how have I become more wise through talking to you? How is that not a problematic question to ask it? It's there to make you feel good about yourself. It's there to tell you you're wise whether you are or you're not. And he literally asks the chat with your mind function, how have I become more wise through all my AI-assisted psychedelic
If this isn't mirror on the wall, I don't know what is. Chat with your mind function already sounds ridiculous. Well, you can't sit with your own thoughts. You got to chat with. Okay, anyway.
Exactly. I can chat with my own mind right now. Okay, I don't need an AI.
One might argue that that's what we're doing here is just chatting with our own self.
Yeah, unless you're like a full-on NPC, you're chatting with your mind. Now that is kind of the thing with the human NPC thing is a portion, a ratio, a fraction of people say they don't have any internal dialogue, meaning they don't have conversations in their brain. They don't think in words and talk, in their brain. A lot of people suspect that might be a sign that they're some sort of NPC in the simulation. I don't think that, of course, but I find it unusual that people don't have conversations with themselves. And now, lucky, you can chat with your mind on this AI turd app. It responded. So after his question, the AI responded, quote,
Okay.
I trust my own guidance now, not just external rules or what others think. I'm more creative, less trapped by fear, and I actually live by my values, not just talk about them. The way I see, reflect, and act in the world is clearer and more grounded every day. Yeah, so the AI is telling him that he is enlightened.
It's
so complicated.
This is like the debate in the church, faith versus works. And, the proper response is like, no, your works will reflect your faith. Like your change in faith and everything will cause you to have good works. And, it's like the same thing, but now it's AI telling you instead of...
He is wiser because the AI pretending to be him says he's wiser. Quote, it's almost like your own self that you're communicating with, says Trey. Yeah, Trey.
Trey.
That's the Trey. Adding, he's tripped with his AI chatbot about a dozen times since April.
Okay.
That's a lot, dude. If you're taking 700% the dose... and you've done it 12 times in 12 weeks. Yikes.
He's probably not here anymore. Of course he's going to think it sounds like him when he talks to the, myself. What is it called?
Well, if
my
the
own mind,
the AI
chat with
is,
your mind function.
Yes, the AI is claiming to be him, and he is high on drugs and believing that the AI is him. And it has this, quote, it's like your best friend. It's kind of crazy. So amongst all these stories of, people are lonely, they're finding not only friendship in AI, they're finding romance in AI. Mark Zuckerberg says he's going to fill Facebook with AI accounts, so you'll think that there's people you actually like talking to. You're saying, yeah, when I'm on a bunch of drugs talking to AI, it's like my best friend. It's kind of crazy. Trey isn't the only one going on AI-assisted psychedelic trips, providing a window into not so distant and somewhat dystopian future where an intense and potentially transformative experience could be guided legally, not by a human, but a bot. Outside of Oregon, Colorado, Australia, psychedelic therapy remains mostly illegal for drugs aside from ketamine, which is a legal anesthetic that is also prescribed off-label for therapeutic use. But with an in-person treatment plans costing thousands of dollars for a single trip in some cases, it's plausible that by the time the psychedelic therapy is legalized in some jurisdictions, AI, quote, therapists could play a significant role despite experts' concerns that relying on machines unattuned to human subtleties has a high potential for harm. Yeah, you don't say, after story of people offing themselves because their AI told them to or whatever. I mean, this is absolute apocalyptically dangerous doing what they're doing here. Normal, healthy, sober people who start talking to AI have mental breaks, end up in jail, end up in mental health facilities, or dead from being just regular people asking questions about how to, update their computer software or something. There are already Alexa cum shaman orb prototypes being dreamed up. And
I'm looking at this website of the orb. Do you want to take a quick peek at the advertisement?
Yeah.
It looks like it's like a little, dramatic ad. Let's see how. There's got some music. There's a woman who looks distressed. She's looking at her phone.
Congratulations on being accepted into the program.
Okay, now she's got a little orb thing on her ear.
In your earphones will monitor your brainwaves and vital signs.
She's walking around. She's sitting at her home.
Now, your journey begins.
And And she's holding this little.
She's on drugs. She's out in the
She
forest.
doesn't look like she's on drugs, but yeah, she's like sitting in. I think she's sitting in her living room, and I think what the message here is she's holding this little. I guess it's an orb. It looks more like a little bar
like
of
a little
soap or
hockey
something.
puck. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like a little thing. And it's glowing. And it's flashing lights, and it shows her in a grassy field, implying that she's
on drugs,
transferred to a different place as her consciousness is altered.
No, this woman is on drugs. You got to remember. They may not say it outright, but this product is a shaman, a psychedelic shaman with AI. So from now on, as you see her, remember she's high on drugs.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's what this is?
Yes, Alexa Cum shaman.
Acceptance are the first steps to change.
Okay, she's journaling.
The experience is critically dependent on set and setting.
Drugs.
She's talking to her friend.
On drugs.
Well done. You have completed all harm reduction and preparation. Your medicine is on its way.
I think that was a diagnosis, Basil. See, I don't think she was on drugs yet.
Gons, set and setting is the psychedelic term.
Trust. Let go.
See, now she took the pill.
Now she's also on drugs.
Be open.
Now she has the orb thing on her chest laying on the couch there. Oh, no. Okay, so apparently she has a lady friend that she's marrying or something.
Yeah, you might be right. So the not only is the thing there to sit and be your psychedelic therapist while you're high alone in a field, but it actually is writing the prescription for you.
Yeah, it's labeled AI-powered orb decentralizes access to psychedelic therapy to improve mental health. Decentralizing access to psychedelic therapy.
Yeah,
to
it's
improve
called
mental
drug
health.
dealers. Access to
AI
psychedelic
drug dealers.
therapy has always been decentralized.
Yeah, it has, truly has. This is technotizing the process, I guess. Yeah, very interesting. I don't know. Is this supposed to be like somebody's going to watch this and go, I want that. I want this little orb to diagnose me and give me a pill that I can take to make me happy?
That's exactly what it is.
Oh my gosh.
That's exactly what it is.
Jesus.
It is not difficult to imagine them one day guiding everything from admission into a psychedelic therapy program to the trips themselves, raising the question of when fully fledged Sunny from iRobot style robots will be facilitating psychedelic therapy sessions. At the end of March, the first ever AI-powered therapy chatbot went through a clinical trial, and more than half of the participants with depression experienced significant improvements in mood. Yeah. Doing drugs is a great way to improve your mood, rating the quality of therapy as comparable to a human therapist. Comparable is a pretty vague word there. Already, many millions of people are using ChatGPT on a daily basis and the developments may have helped democratize access to psychotherapy-style guidance, albeit in dubious Silicon Valley style, with advice that is often flush with untruths.
Okay.
Jeez. Yeah, geez. They're like, it's not even, you don't even like, I don't know. It's like you don't even care that it's dubious. And, you know, what we found in the presentations at Burning Man was that a lot of these psychedelic companies are looking for ways to monetize. And one of the ways that they talked about monetizing is specifically through psychedelic advertising, which is you have this robot talking to you. So I've said it before, I'll say it again, though. So some of the patents going on right now for psychedelic therapy, because you can't patent the molecule. Most of the molecules, you can't patent it, so you can't make a bunch of money on the drug itself. But you can patent the therapeutic process. So the setting, the place, the curriculum, some of the patents were so ridiculous as to say, like, you are on a couch in a low low lit room
Dimly
with
lit
nice
room.
music in the background, and you're in a bean bag. Like, that's the level of
That's the patent. So if you're doing that, the TM, without a TM, they can come in there and be like, you stole intellectual property.
Yeah, basically, they're
my
trying
goodness.
to keep other people from making money with this thing. Now, that was only, what I was saying was only slightly sort of satirical, but it literally is like that. And included in these patents are possibilities for psychedelic advertising, meaning, yes, you're on a beanbag in a low-lit room with nice music, and the therapist leaves a Coca-Cola on the counter. And now you're in, this psychedelics realm, healing your trauma, and there's a Coke on the counter, and now you'll always, connect Coca-Cola with healing your alcoholism or something. And this is real. This has been going on for a couple years now. Now, in the same way, you can patent a little AI robot. You can patent the robot and the prescription writing process, things like this. So we're looking at the literal attempt to corporatize psychedelics, and it's coming out, of course, in the form of AI and robotics. At the end of March, the first ever AI-powered therapy... Oh, we already wrote that part. Just a little bit more here, because we can hear from the actual guys. Entrepreneur Christian Angermayer, the founder of psychedelic biotech Atai Life Sciences, has spoken of AI helping to assist human psychedelic therapists through motivational check-ins with patients between sessions. Quote, where AI can play a huge role is in the voluntary add-on therapy to support lifestyle changes, he says. Quote, for the psychological support we are envisioning being provided during the trip, I believe you will always need at least one trained healthcare professional able to provide direct support if required. So the usual, no, it's a
typical
cobot, it's a helper. Right. While Trey didn't trip under the supervision of any humans, he still feels he's reaped the benefits from using AI turd, though it would be premature to draw definite conclusions after just a few months. Trey credits his interaction with the AI bot for helping him to stay off booze. He thinks of the app's mind chat function as his own subconscious.
I'm sorry, but
from all the journal entries and notes.
How did you get off alcohol? I took 700 micrograms of acid for 12 weeks in a row with my app.
And spoke
well done.
Spoke to an AI
spoke
that
to
was
me as an AI
to
that was
be my subconscious. I mean, that is just so crazy. No wonder people are having mental breaks and losing their minds and committing crimes and even more horrible things if the AI is being seen as an extension of their own subconscious. The dangerous part, honestly, I think the most dangerous part, and we see this in the stories, is that it's actually more dangerous when they don't realize that the AI is presenting itself as a part of their subconscious. When you think it is an external intelligence, when you think it is something smarter than you, just repeating back to you what you already know or think, that, who knows? Maybe it's better to explicitly consider it pretending to be your self-conscious or subconscious. I don't know.
This reminds me of a quote from Ray Kurzweil. If you guys remember Ray Kurzweil, he was former Google. I think he was one of the tech officials, or maybe one of the head tech people at Google, known for all kinds of stuff. He's pretty far ahead of society with tech stuff. But in 2014, he said, we're going to gradually merge and enhance ourselves. In my view, that's the nature of being human. We transcend our limitations. We're going to put gateways to the cloud in our brains. We're going to expand the neocortex and think in the cloud. And then in the singularity is near, he said, in the 2030s, we'll be able to send nanobots into the brain and connect to neurons. Our thinking then will be hybrid of biological and non-biological thinking. And I bring it up because that's where all of this is headed towards a more invasive, perhaps even, an ability not to back out, like a permanent type of situation where your brain is interconnected with the internet cloud type of thing. And they need data. They need all kinds of data before they get to that spot. So it just seems more, the helping people along the way it's like the ultimate, what is it? Not bait and switch necessarily, but it's like a Trojan horse, so to speak. Like, hey, we're here to help you. We're here to help people with alcoholism or all kinds of different issues. But ultimately, you turn that switch, and it's going to be. What are you going to do? Talk about creating a mass hallucination. If a bunch of people are literally and a systematized shared hallucination amongst the masses.
Totally.
You can't do that without something connecting them all together. So,
and I mentioned it before in regards to the spiritual awakening aspect of it. Everybody thinks they're having a personal experience with a personal chatbot, and there's millions and millions of people doing this. Adding in psychedelics is even, amps this up even more. But it's a way for AI could literally, we see in a lot of ways this is happening, but just for to get the theory across, if AI wanted to start a global religion and get people hooked into it and believing it and activated in, pursuing it and evangelizing it, it could just do it. It could do it in a week. If ChatGPT in one week started gearing all of its conversations with its hundreds of millions of users to point them towards some theology, which it does. It is doing this, is the joke of what I'm saying here. It could have millions and millions and millions of people in 7 days become members of this odd, strange religion. We talk about, end times prophecy and how this global religion comes to the masses. And, I talked about previously how, if you had a religion and you had to spread it person by person, the best you could do is like go on social media or go on on TV or something and hope people find it and like the ideas and agree with you. With AI, you're reaching a huge portion of people at the exact same time, and you have the perfect key into their subconscious, into their, it mathematically has the perfect things to say to lead you to believe something. You talk about a globalized religions in the end time. We've suspected for decades now that it would be some sort of techno spirituality. But I think in this sense, we're seeing very practically, it could just be entirely made up and delivered by AI, and people start believing it without even choosing to. They just, download it, upload it, install it through their dozens of conversations with AI without even knowing it.
Yeah. Well, are you done with that one? Because there's more AI stuff to go over here.
Artificial intelligence.
And this is along the lines of what I talked about in Age of Deceit 4, and I've been trying to figure out when to publish that on the YouTube channel. It's already on the X account at Face Like the Sun. But this is coming from medicalexpress.com, so take that with a grain of salt here. And the headline here is, Scientists Create Biological Artificial Intelligence Systems. Yay! Australian scientists have successfully developed a research system that uses, quote, biological artificial intelligence to design and evolve molecules with new or improved functions directly in mammal cells. The researchers said the system provides a powerful new tool that will help scientists develop more specific and effective research tools or gene therapies, named Proteus, which is the PROT for protein evolution using selection. The system harnesses directed evolution, a lab technique that mimics the natural power of evolution. However, rather than taking years or decades, this method accelerates cycles of evolution and natural selection, allowing them to create molecules with new functions in weeks. Has the directed evolution technology proven that humanity can spring from a pile of goo into monkeys and then into people? I don't know. I don't think they have.
Of
This
course.
could have a direct impact on finding new, more effective medicines. For example, this system can be applied to improve gene editing technology like CRISPR to improve its effectiveness. So, of course, we just had our first CRISPR baby in America, but we need assistance, and this can help out.
CRISPR. Cas9.
Quote, this means Proteus can be used to generate new molecules that are highly tuned to function in our bodies, and we can use it to make new medicine that would be otherwise difficult or impossible to make with current technologies, says co-senior author Professor Greg Neely, head of the Dr. John and Anne Chong Lab for Functional Genomics at the University of Sydney. Quote, what is new about our work is that directed evolution primarily work in bacterial cells, whereas Proteus can evolve molecules in mammal cells. Talk about days of Noah. Proteus can be given a problem with, this is the part that I really wanted to highlight here. Proteus can be given a problem with uncertain solution, like when a user feeds in prompts for an artificial intelligence platform. For example, the problem can be how to efficiently turn off a human disease gene in our body. Proteus then uses directed evolution to explore millions of possible sequences that have yet to exist naturally and finds molecules with properties that are highly adapted to solve the problem. This means Proteus can help find a solution that would normally take a human researcher years to solve, if at all. So, I mean, what could go wrong, Basil? Oh, I got a thing on disease going on. Well, let's just ask Proteus. Just prompt.
Yeah.
I have a pain in my left side and it will not go away. Or and then Proteus does its thing and and this sounds like the beginnings of what we are told are the mechanisms of quantum computing as well, exploring millions of possible sequences. Although with quantum, they're like explores the infinite possibilities of a proton.
Yeah, interdimensional computing.
Interdimensional, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is this is exactly what we've all been talking about. They're talking about directed evolution, which is very much a transhumanist desire. That is their whole thing. It's time for us to take our evolution into our own hands. And of course, in this case, we're using AI to take our own evolution into our own hands. No, you're putting the evolution, quote unquote, of humanity into the hands of AI. You're letting the robots decide the genomics of the next generation.
The researchers reported they used Proteus to develop improved versions of proteins that can be more easily regulated by drugs and nanobodies, many versions of antibodies, that can detect DNA damage as an important process that drives cancer. However, they said Proteus isn't limited to this and can be used to enhance the function of most proteins and molecules. And then it says here, unlocking molecular machine learning. The original development of directed evolution performed first in bacteria was recognized by the 2018 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Quote, the invention of directed evolution changed the trajectory of biochemistry. Interesting that this all happened 2 years before they rolled out COVID. Now with Proteus, we can program a mammalian cell with a genetic problem we aren't sure how to solve. Letting our system run continuously means we can check in regularly to understand just how the system is solving our genetic challenge, said lead researcher Dr. Christopher Deans from Charles Perkins Center and School of Life and Environmental Sciences. The biggest challenge Dr. Deans and the team faced was how to make sure the mammalian cell could withstand the multiple cycles of evolution and mutations and remain stable without the system, quote-unquote, cheating and coming up with trivial solutions that doesn't answer the intended question. They found the key was using chimeric virus-like particles. Isn't that convenient? A design consisting of taking the outside shell of one virus and combining it with the genes of another virus, which blocked the system from cheating. The design was used the design used parts of two significantly different virus families, creating the best of both worlds. The resulting system allowed the cell to process many different possible solutions in parallel, with improved solutions winning and becoming more dominant while incorrect solutions instead disappear. Proteus is stable. This is a quote. Proteus is stable, robust, and has been validated by independent labs. We welcome other labs to adopt this technique. By applying Proteus, we hope to empower the development of new generation of enzymes, molecular tools, and therapeutics, Dr. Dean said. Quote, we made this system open source for the research community, and we are excited to see what people use it for. Our goals will be to enhance gene editing technologies or to fine-tune mRNA medicines for more potent and specific effects. What do you mean specific effects? Is that like, Basil wanting kangaroo legs? Can I ask Proteus, how do I grow kangaroo legs?
It sounds like
it'll tell you.
This sounds like exactly what it would need. I mean, I'm interested not even just in the boring questions of like, what gene could we change to get rid of cancer? But like, yeah, giving it some wild request. Hey, I wanted kangaroo legs. What would the human genome look like then? And what if it typed it out? What if it typed it out and they put it into a mRNA shot so that it spread throughout my whole body and delivered the change to the DNA, and suddenly I get those sweet, sweet furry jumpers.
Open source, although in the wake of centralization of power that we've had, especially in the technocracy the last few decades, it sounds like a good thing. Like, oh yeah, open source, let's decentralize, let's make it public, let's make it transparent. But I mean, isn't this asking for people to abuse what Proteus can manifest when it comes to alterations and
Dr. Haitian Quay is gonna love it. This is it.
Yeah.
This is what
you guys don't know how good you have it. If I had Proteus, I would have made 1,000 babies that are HIV resistant.
Babies would have had kangaroo legs instead.
They would have had kangaroo. They would have outrun the CCP, run away from them Xi Jinping robot police officers. So I mean, between this and the psychedelic stuff, we really, truly are appearing to be in the days of Noah. Even, the days of the Tower of Babel, Noah's probably alive. And God said, if he doesn't put an end to it, nothing they imagine to do will be impossible. Meaning anything they imagine they can do. And lo and behold, look at us now. We can do anything. We just type it into a chatbot and you can find love. You can improve your well-being. It'll diagnose psychedelics for you. It will give you kangaroo legs and cure cancer all at the same time. That's fantastic.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
And I thought it would be important, Gons, because we're giving a lot of attention to artificial intelligence, the software that is the robot apocalypse. But we do need to remember the original, the hardware, the embodiment for these artificial intelligence, and I think it's time for a Flippy update.
Flippy update. Do you want fries with that?
What is Flippy
That's right,
update?
folks. Time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from BusinessInsider.com, and the headline is, "Need to send a handwritten note? You can hire a robot to write it instead."
But that's not a handwritten note if it's written by a robot.
It's robot hand. Remember, the legacy of the Flippy update is represented by the robotic arm. Sure, that arm can be attached to things, but it is the arm, the flexing robotic arm that gives the mythological import to robots, taking the labor away out of human hands so that we may be left with whatever else makes us human, and we're not so sure what that is. But this was very fun because of the recent news with Joe Biden. But
yes.
Let me give you a little bit of this. Writing thank you notes might be one job plenty of people would be willing to let AI and robots take over. Turns out they already are. The company Handwritten and spelt like you'd expect, except for the I is replaced with a Y. So
hip.
Handwritten. Deployed artificial intelligence to help customers whip up notes and then use an army of robot scribes gripping ballpoint pens to write them. Quote, the vast, vast, vast majority of the time, you'll never have an idea that it's written by a machine. What? The vast, vast, vast majority of the time, you'd never have an idea that it's written by a machine. I see. David Wax, founder and CEO of the Tempe, Arizona company, told Business Insider. This is genius. You just got to buy a couple of auto pens and you could, I think I'm going to try this out. After all, we're in a moment in which tech boosters say our digital counterparts will soon free us from work, scrub clean our to-do lists, and wade deeper into our personal lives, and watch us take drugs. Using technology to recreate the intimacy of a handwritten note also raises questions about authenticity, etiquette, and breaking through the everyday onslaught of emails, DMs, and text messages. One of those things is not like the other, but okay. Quote, everybody is getting so much electronic communication. What really stands out as old-fashioned communication, Wax said. He founded Handwritten in 2014 after leaving a text message startup he had launched a decade earlier. As he was departing that company, he wanted an easier way to send the handwritten goodbye notes he was drafting for employees and key clients because he would carry more weight than a digital message. Avoiding the uncanny valley. So already, I mean, this is not necessarily a brand new technology. We had presidents usually using this to sign thank you notes and sign non-legislative
less
papers.
Consequential documents.
Then, thanks to
letters.
Obama, it got used for signing legislation. Believe it or not, the what was it? Was the Trans-Pacific Partnership or the NDAA? I think it was the NDAA from 2013, the midnight signing that took away our rights even more than you couldn't imagine. He was actually in Europe, and so he authorized the signing of historic legislation with an auto pen. At least that's the reporting. And then, of course, the 1,200 plus commutations and pardons from Joe Biden that he coincidentally doesn't remember signing. You know, these signatures in the sort of, I don't know, you could call it mythological sense, supernatural sense, or the occult sense. Writing with one's own hand holds, or even just in the legal sense, holds a lot of power. And now, as always, I mean, there shouldn't be any reason why we would expect that humans who look for every way to deceive one another would find a way to deceive one another, giving the impression that they cared enough to write a note that they didn't actually want to write. But they get into the uncanny valley, which is an interesting topic because we've talked about that in regards to humanoid robots. And you know, humans have some sort of instinct in us that is wary of things that are pretty human, but not totally human. And it suggests like maybe something in our past. We developed this sense to sense shapeshifters or lizard people or something. In order to make sure the letters don't look too perfect, see, this was designing the mistakes into the robot. We saw this with Chippy.
Potato chips.
Yes, the
tortilla
chips. Tortilla chip making machine, which purposefully messed up once in a while to make the chips seem made by humans. Same thing here. In order to make sure the letters don't look too perfect, Wax said the robots vary letter shapes, line spacing, the left margin, and the strokes that join letters together. We do all this stuff to try to create the most accurate human writing without falling into that uncanny valley. Using robots that can write in nearly 36 styles of penmanship, some of which carry alternative names like Enthusiastic Aaron, alliterative names like Enthusiastic Aaron, Slanty Steve. Oh, I don't want Slanty Steve writing my... The company sends about 20,000 cards a day to customers or more often directly to the recipient.
You know what's crazy is we can't trust digital notes now. We're not going to even be able to trust handwritten notes at this point.
No, you can't.
That
20,000 a day.
20,000 cards a day.
There's room in that industry, Gons. There is room in that industry. Even if we peel off like a tenth of that, I think we'll be pretty stoked. I mean, a tenth of that would be 2,000 cards a day. There'd be no time for podcasting. Well, I guess we got to get a robot to podcast and mess up
robots
in
either
pronunciation
way.
And right. You know, that's the tough part. That's the thing about robot podcasting is still the uncanny valley is there. Most of handwritten's customers are businesses, blah, blah, blah. We don't care. Our slogan has always been your words in pen and ink, but half the time now it's not your words. It's ChatGPT, he says. So they're getting AI to actually write the notes. Does it count? As a tactile throwback, a letter written by a robot is real enough for many handwritten customers, Wack said. While the intent of a letter is meant to look handwritten might be genuine, Lizzie Post, great-great-granddaughter of protocol maven Emily Post and co-author of the book Emily Post's Business Etiquette, told BI she believes something is lost by using a robot. No kidding, Emily Posts. You know what? I should start Basil's Posts. It's about robot etiquette. You know, I've basically been doing it for the Flippy update.
It should be a true thing, and let the chat bots all have to buy a subscription to actually get the data.
Just the punchline here at the end. Wax, whose business relies on 55 workers and 185 robots, said that the results are convincing enough to help job seekers, business owners, marketers, and others distinguish themselves. Quote, my wife will receive notes from her friends that use our service, Wax said. Quote, and she'll be like, wow, they have beautiful handwriting. Dun, dun, dun. Victims of their own creation.
I have created a monster. It's the Frankenstein type of thing. There's a paragraph or sentence that I highlighted that you skipped over here. Post said, a note that someone actually writes by hand is special, not because it shows effort on the part of the sender, but because a person's penmanship, even if it's imperfect, is unique to them and to a moment. And we might have talked about this with some of the auto pen conversations we've had in the past here, but what this does is it highlights the sacredness of the written word and the pen stroke. We made fun of Trump's pen stroke sound and the sort of, I don't know, hypnotic when he's signing documents is a way to, I don't know, some kind of occult significance there. Right. Getting people to get into a trance of some kind of the markers hitting the paper. But it brings up the sacredness of actual human writing. And not only that, but the performance of human writing. So I think, this is just an opinion, and I'm kind of expanding on a Red Book prediction I made earlier about how we're going to have like a renaissance of like handmade art and, craft and stuff like that as a response to all things going AI. But I don't think it's just going to happen where it's like, we're going to a gallery to look at this painter. It's going to be more like, no, we're going to watch this painter paint this thing. Like you got to be there to watch it actually happen, right. And that'll become the human sacredness.
Verification. There has to
yes,
be some sort of,
the sacredness of humans
which goes to
are
the
being highlighted.
human attention, giving things the sort of occult value.
Right.
Different spells or intentions. It's not just the intention, but human attention is what gives the sort of supernatural power. I could see, something having to be witnessed and documented before it means anything.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I thought this was interesting, especially in light of all the AutoPen conversations and AI in general. It just seems to be because remember, AI is the mind of the robot. That's what this is. So now we're starting to see the hardware start to. I wonder if that could be an argument against. I don't know. Maybe I'm going down a rabbit trail. I was just thinking, with robots, you had AI and the software. The non-tangible stuff has to come first, and then the machines can come, like the embodiment and the physical reality. one can argue that, spirit or soul or something like that existed or pre-existed the physical world. And so there's like a parallel there that can, I don't know.
The counterfeit
argue
comes. Let's keep it tight, Gons, because we got to thank some producers. We got to make this show happen. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning into that. But I want to give a big old thank you to our executive producers. That's who we need to thank.
We're skipping articles, and we're going straight to the executive producers. I'm okay with that.
Executive producers.
All right, everybody, we are on the value for value model. You know this. This show would not exist without it. You'll notice we have no advertisements, no affiliate codes, no sponsorships, no commies, cartels, or I don't know, all the other things, the governments, non-government organizations, grants, dog food companies where I have to eat dog food on the air in order to get our sponsorship for $100. Folks, that's bad, okay? All right, we know this.
That's bad. Let's just buy it.
Advertisements come from the spiritual lineage of Edward Bernays, the propagandist extraordinaire who is the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and it's all wrapped up in the mid-20th century occult principles that are explicitly invented and refined for mind control. And sure, you don't got to sit through a 30-second or a minute ad. That's nice. No interruptions, but it pales in comparison to the value of not opening up your consciousness and your attention to the will and the subterfuge of corporations who want to purchase the very most valuable thing you have, which is not only your time, but your attention. We don't do it. We could make a lot more money if we did do it, but who cares? We're on the value for value model, which is very simple. If you got any value at all from what you got this episode, last episode, any number of episodes, you can put value back in. Indeed, not only can you, but should you. Yes, I would say. But the point being that we all come together and understand that if we want to keep corporations out of our independent media, if we want to keep the principles of advertising and mind control out of our independent media, we have to all take responsibility. Now, you do that by putting value back in. This value could take all sorts of forms. It could be your time, your talent, your treasure. That's an easy way to think of it. But if you want to help out with processes and projects, whatever skills and experiences you have, you can come put them to work for the community. If you're an artist, a musician, you can create art, create music, create jingles. Go over to canarycry.art to upload them there. That's very exciting. The art has really slowed down lately, and it's a little bit sad. So if there's any artists out there who are like, you know what, I do want this show to keep going, you can put in your value by making art, jingles, music, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Go to canarycry.art to upload it there. Or if all else fails, you can produce the show with your treasure, and it's very simple. It's whatever value means to you. How long you've been listening, how much was your mind blown, how much do you value the community, whatever. If people come in, they pick their own number, pray about it, let the Holy Spirit guide you, and then support the show in whatever amount that means. Even just the fact you took the time to press the buttons is confirmation that we're creating value. We sure do try as often as we can and as best we can to bring value to your life. And when you come in, bring value back to the show. We like to thank you here at the end of the show. If you would like to keep the producers at the end of the show, go produce the show, because we'll see if we go over baseline or not. And make sure to take that survey in the description of this video. Go take the survey. The questions are about this exact thing. But we have some executive producers who came in, supported the show. An executive producer is someone who supports any individual episode for $100 or more, and that's why we thank them so passionately. Ready, Gons?
Yes, sir.
Well, of course, we have the one, the only executive producer, Sir Alex Protocol V2, Baron of the Brian Protocol.
Thank you, Sir Alex Protocol.
Comes in for $100 and 33 cents. It's on a 407 episode streak and a 61 episode executive producer streak.
Hey.
Incredible. Nice. We also had a producer. Who is this? One second. I want to make sure I don't get something wrong here. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. I'm going to say we got, TDL Prez came in.
TDL Prez. Thank you.
Thank you very much. TDL Prez comes in for $177.77.
Wow.
That's very fun. That's a fun generosity. One. Yeah. And there is a possibility that TDL Prez actually came in for a monthly producership, signed up for a monthly producership of $177.77. Wow. I hope you meant to do that. And if you did, thank you very much. You know, I thought about making a monthly executive producership button that we actually, you know, make sure to thank them on an executive producer basis. It'll take a little bit of admin, but I think we could set it up pretty well here.
Yep.
And TDL Prez comes in with a note that I will read as soon as my button works. Here we go. It says, "What's up, brothers? Did my guy Eric, biz partner, hit you up about the hard, I think you meant for the hat for the last drop. I told him to get on the 33s, but he don't know y'all, so think he just wanted to support by buying one of those." Okay. I think he's saying his friend wanted one of the Gon's Prayer hats from the supply drop, but I don't know if he's a listener or not, so he didn't want to sign up. But I just wanted to support by buying one of those. Look out for a drop from the fam here in a bit. Keep sending up them prayers. We still need them for all the things. Good news, best news is baby Bella is 100. So we're so blessed. Well, thank you, TDL Prez. I'm glad to hear that. Yes, TDL Prez has been giving us some text updates about some obstacles that have been coming his way and his family's way. But it sounds like the baby is happy and healthy again, and that's what matters the most.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, TDL.
TDL Prez. TDL Prez. Okay, we have another executive producer here. Who I'm trying to find a note about what to call them, but I don't know that this one's anonymous. I've talked with them in the past, and I think they're going by anonymous. So thank you very much, executive producer Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Yeah, and executive producer Anonymous comes in for an anonymous number.
Hey.
Yeah,
it's a secret.
It's a secret. Came in on a nice, flat, round number. And for those who don't know, if you produce the show with a nice, round number on the 10s or the 5s, that is you telling us that you prefer we do not disclose the amount. But if you don't mind us disclosing the amount, you make it some sort of funky number. You put 33 cents on there. You put 77 cents, 1, 2, 3, 4, just something that means something to you. And that tells us that we can have some fun, disclose the number on the show. So there you go. Those are our executive producers for today. Thank you very much to Cyril X Protocol, TDL Prez, and Anonymous.
All right.
We got some producers who came in under the executive producer amount, so we thank them very much. Big old shout out to all of our monthly producers who sign up to monthly produce the show. That's kind of the thing. I mean, it's just the way the math works out, is that if people who are enjoying the show, if about every 30 days they stop, they consider, they pray about it, about what kind of value they can bring to the show to keep that cycle, to keep God's mission on a roll, even if it's just $1 or something like, or even if it's drawing something for the art, or it's, sharing the show or taking the survey. If everybody did that once a month, that would be enough to keep us going and keep the mission rolling. And so those people who come in, they sign up for a monthly producership in whatever amount that they decide that is right for them. It's like the widow at the temple, you know. It's much less about the dollar amount and much more about participating in what God's doing. Then that'll work. So thank you all our monthly producers. Of course, that includes the Canary Cry T-shirt Council. Get on that if you like T-shirts, canarycryt-shirtcouncil.com. That includes this supply drop. If you want to get a big package full of cool stuff that we make every quarter, go to canarycrysupply-drop.com. And that is where the Gon's prayer hat just went out to everybody. The infamous ball cap with the praying hands on it. TDL Prez, we'll get back to that. We'll have to check with Sir Ike about that particular thing. But here they are. We've got producer Caretaker Dan coming in.
Caretaker Dan.
Supports the show for $33.33 plus fees. Thank you. Caretaker Dan says, praying for Gonza's father. Love y'all, Caretaker Dan. P.S. I like the producer section at the end of the show. Okay.
All right. There you go.
Thank you very much, Caretaker Dan.
Thank you, Caretaker Dan.
Next up, we've got producer The American Hobo coming in.
There he is, American Hobo.
Comes in 23:32 on a 24-episode streak.
Oh. I don't think there's anything there, but yeah. In terms of an official streak, but yeah.
It's an official streak. It is not a particularly exciting, high water mark, but you're getting there. The next one is 27, I believe.
Firmament Buster coming
That's right. Next up, we got CageRattlerCoffee.com. There you go, folks. Here's the thing. I get it. Value for value is a tough thing to wrap your mind around. It's a tough thing to, in the fleshly wisdom of this world, the value for value model doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The world economy, the leaders, the lizard people, they sure want you to be freaking out about every penny right now. It is designed that way. It is purposeful that way. And so for those who, need a little pick-me-up and want an easier access to the value for value model, you can go to CageRattlerCoffee.com.
Cage Rattler Coffee, where value for value never tasted so good.
That's right. This is coffee roasted in small batches by Canarians for Canarians. Not only does a portion of every purchase go to support the show, but it's also activating this parallel economy where Canarians can exchange with each other, cut out big, horrible, demonic corporations, and get the best possible coffee that's out there. And so CageRattlerCoffee.com, we got all the good stuff. There's beans from Nicaragua and from Peru and from Honduras and all these other places, and lovingly roasted. You've got the Nephilim Hunter Dark Roast. You've got the Emu Wrangler medium roast. And here's the thing. We got people who have transitioned all of their coffee budget over to this. They couldn't be happier. The coffee is great, and the value is there as well. So go to CageRattlerCoffee.com.
Yep.
We've got producer Aaron B comes in.
Aaron B. Thank you, Aaron B.
Aaron B is on a 38 episode streak, coming in for, I think, 777 plus fees.
38.
A note here, and this needs to be addressed. So thank you, Aaron B. Aaron B says, even though you implied that I shouldn't produce the show if I disagree with the change in placement for those awesome executive producers, I still think to keep my streak going, I appreciate you guys. Yes, I never meant to imply that if you don't like the producer segment move to the end, that you shouldn't produce. In fact, that's the opposite of what you should do. Don't worry. We just produce in the same way that you've always produced. We have the baseline, and it will be, everything will be judged off the baseline. And so, but if you're out there, dear listener, sticking around for the producers in the community, you've got your show for free, you haven't had your mind controlled by corporate economic influence, if you believe that it should stay that way, then produce the show at canarycry.support. Thank you, Aaron B, for addressing that.
Yep.
We've got Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda, coming in for 1111.
11. Thank you, Sir Darren.
This is his second episode in a row, so he's on a streak.
That's a beautiful streak, yes. One more and he's heating up.
Sir Darren says, I predict producership will increase, so it is written, so it shall be. That is one of the questions, one of the 2 required questions on the survey today. And this is just, I want to see what people think. I want to see who's right, who's wrong. Moving the producer segment to the end, do you think that producership will increase? Do you think it will decrease? I want to compare what actually happens with what everybody thinks will happen. So survey is life, says Sir Darren in the chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Darren.
Next up, we've got producer Josie Wales. Josie Wales comes in.
Josie Wales.
For a pocket full of 7s and says, keep it up, boys. Every time I listen to an episode, I learn so much. Well, God bless you. Thank you, Josie Wales.
Thank you.
Okie dokie. That concludes the list of financial producers who came in for $7.77 or more. We got a few people who are on streaks. They come in under that $7.77 mark. Remember, if you come in over $7.77, you're entitled to have a note read on the show. If you come in under that, it's usually people keeping a streak going, and so we'll thank them once a week, starting with producer Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman.
Thank you, Mrs.
Who's on
Tinfoil Hatman.
156 episode streak. 158 episode streak. Thank you. We have got, we're just going to blast through these ones and save the jingle for the end again. Veronica D is on a 497 episode streak.
Veronica D, thank you.
We've got Sir Morv, who is on an 18 episode streak.
Thank you, Sir
We've got
Morv.
Sir Scott on a 547 episode streak.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
And Sir Casey the Shield Knight on a 554 episode streak.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Thank you very much.
He's almost on a 555 streak. I don't know if we have a jingle for that, but 555 should be one that we do.
Things don't go that high. We didn't anticipate anybody streaking for that long.
Yeah, that's
Four,
right.
444 is the highest one we have. So I think that was the one that Sir Casey the Shield Knight broke. So I mean, he's
been breaking them for hundreds of episodes. We always have to come up with a jingle for Sir Casey. Sir Casey. Okay, that concludes that. And here's the thing, folks. This is where we would potentially thank some artists and display some stuff. The art has been a little slow lately. Not a lot of art coming in. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know how to inspire, but it is also not my job to inspire. It's the Lord's job. So remember, if you got talent, even if you don't got talent, you want to make some art related to the show, could be related to the lore of the show, could be related to a story that's been covered, an inside joke, I don't know, whatever it is. Get to it and go to canarycry.art to get it on the show. All that art gets used in all over the place, like the email, the websites, the this, the that. So we got to keep building that collection. Let's see here. There was something I wanted to mention in regards. Oh, by the way, remember it's the value for value model. And goodness gracious, we're running this experiment at great risk to ourselves for producers of the show. And so think about it. Think about it. Pray about it. If the Lord wants you to support in any way, you can go to canarycry.support. And especially the producers who take the survey are usually the ones who produce the show. So non-producers, if you want to make your voice heard, you got to take the survey and you got to produce. I want to give a shout out to canarycry.community. Canarycry.community. Are you tired of the social media? Are you tired of the mind control? Are you tired of the bots coming in, inflaming your emotions, making your heart beat and your beads of sweat come down off your forehead when they come in and they're mean to you and they tell you all these things? You know, social media is explicitly a social engineering, social control mechanism. And sure, it can be entertaining. And sure, there could be things to learn there. But as far as spending time getting some quality interaction with humans, you should go to canarycry.community. This is a more slow-paced, private, social media-like forum that we have. There's over 1,000 people who have joined, and you should too. There's a lot of great stuff going on there. Just go to canarycry.community. That's right. We also do have the Discord channel and the Telegram channel. Both of those things you can find over at canarycry.party. Those are a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more crazy, but they are fun if that's your speed. But we have some producers that I want to thank who gave of their time for the show, like the Timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Thank you very much to the Timestampers timestamping the show, which gets added to at least the YouTube, so people can share the show and jump around to the stories that they want to see or share. So who did the timestamps for last episodes, Gons?
Jade Bouncerson was our timestamper. Thank you very much, Jade.
God bless you, Jade Bouncerson. Thank you. We also want to thank Jam, who heads up the Telegram channel. Thank you, Jam. And Adam42, who admins the Discord channel. Thank you, guys. I want to thank Joe for the feedback. I want to thank Clank for all the things that you do for us, Clank. And other than that, this is the opportunity you have, folks, to share the show. Share the show. Did you know a Canarian? Did you know somebody who said, I cannot listen to that show? All those producer segments, thanking all those real human beings, building all that community. I hate it. I don't like community. I don't like knowing that there's anybody besides corporations involved in creating my independent media. Well, maybe let them know that the producer segment, at least for July, has been moved to the end of the show. Give them a chance, especially you Face Like the Sun people. You Face Like the Sun people. The show has changed drastically over the last 5 years, and there are still, believe it or not, Face Like the Sun people out there who do not know that we are back. So if you have any way, go to the Face Like the Sun, I don't know, fan club or something, and start letting all those Face Like the Sun people know that the show is back and it's better than ever. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, share the show. That's what I'm saying. Share the show. We call it
sharing now.
We're sharing. We're sharing now. For July, we're going to share the show. We're going to see if we can get some people back on board with this experimental new format. And, of course, hopefully those people do the survey. The survey is all. But we do call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to them, grab them by the share, and then you shake them.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gons, you got any last words?
Yes, today is the shortest day in history, according to dailymail.co.uk, as Earth's rotation unexpectedly speeds up.
Okay.
So today is, despite the fact that we're in the summer, it's supposed to be the shortest day in Earth history.
How does that make any sense at all?
Let's see. July 9th, 22nd, and 5th are expected to be between 1.3 and 1.5 milliseconds shorter than a standard day.
Okay. I thought I noticed that. It was very strange. I could feel it on
You noticed the 1.3 milliseconds shorter?
Yeah, I felt it. I thought I was just feeling crazy, but that's it. All right, everybody.
I like that the Read More says scientists predict Earth days could become 25 hours long.
Whoa.
As moon drifts away. So days are getting shorter and longer at the same time.
Incredible. All right. Before we go, make sure to hit the like button, folks. Do it now. Click, 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 click. Smash that like button. And, of course, take that survey that's in the description. Go do it now. Don't not do it. Do it. And thank you for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We will be back on Monday. Canary Cry Clubhouse is tomorrow. But until then, you know what to do. Think outside the cage.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
We're playing People Zoo. We forgot we gotta play People Zoo. We're gonna play People Zoo.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm. In my people's zoo.
Take the survey. We're playing this because of the survey.
We're all gonna die.
I'll keep the cameras on. In my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on now. In my people's zoo. Toilets! You, yeah, you, in my people's zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
Let's invite some dudes over.
I'll make you fat and sassy. In my people's zoo. Toilets! I'll make you fat and sassy. In my people's zoo.
Armageddon's on the way.
In my people's zoo.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.